everybody, welcome back to the Guy Reviews channel. Doing something very different today, something that many of you requested. I'm going to start off a trip back to Michigan from Texas and document what it's like. Now, if you followed this channel a while, you remember back in May I did one of these videos during the pandemic, what's it like driving cross country? Things are very different now in August. And people have asked for an update, so we're going to do that. We're going to jump in the car here in a few minutes, head back up to Michigan, and I'm going to document that trip. We're going to take our time, just my wife and I, our daughter's with grandparents, so we're going to take 3 days instead of 2. You can easily do it in 2, but we're going to take 3 days, take our time, have some fun, get a chance maybe to take and explore a few areas with you. Now, if you're new to this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. If you're discovering this video, we do a lot of other videos on this channel. And I appreciate your support because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. But before we get in the car, I wanted to show you 2 areas of this home down here in Texas that I absolutely love. Start off with the back porch. Now there's 2 cool things about this back porch. It's my favorite part of the home. We built it. I know we only lived here in a year. If you followed our other channel that I used to own, you know we only lived here for about a year. We thought this would be our forever home. Had a business here in Texas. My wife had a job here. The Lord has mysterious ways. A year later, we sold the assets of the business, and my wife's job gave us an opportunity to move back up to Michigan to be close to family. And after doing that for a few months, I must say, that was a great option. My daughter loves being around grandpa and grandmas and more, but I will definitely be missing this back porch. Now, this wasn't here when we built it. There's 2 reasons I love it. A, it's a beautiful screened-in back porch with 2 ceiling fans, perfect to enjoy the Texas weather. But it's also where I relaunched this channel. You probably remember the early breakdown videos. I'd be sitting right about where that chair is, and I would go out there and record the breakdowns with this as a backdrop. Now, you probably think I'm out in the woods anywhere. I'm actually just in a subdivision. And if you go about 20 yards beyond that fence over there, there is other homes. Just so happens that my house has a drainage ditch between myself and the next home over there. That is meant for huge rain overflows in Texas. When there's a big downpour, the water rushes down that. Well, it's filled in with trees and shrubs and all kinds of stuff, and it gives this illusion of a very private backyard. If you look closely, you'll see rough lines to other homes, but I absolutely love how private this is. And I kind of wanted to share it with you. Now, we actually built this. I know we only lived here a year, but when I got back from the paid TV show last year, there was a tree surrounded by a regular wooden deck, no roof, nothing like that, just a wooden deck. And that tree fell over in a big storm, thankfully away from the home, thankfully. And it ripped off the deck foundation, just totaled it. We got some money from the insurance company, thank you insurance. We added a little bit of our own, put a concrete pad in here, put this roof on, the screens. Absolutely love it, will miss it. This is the one spot in this home I will absolutely miss. Because it's also where this channel got its rebirth, I'm gonna call it, our real true start, where it went from like a secondary overflow channel to my main focus. Now, there's one other spot in this home I wanted to show you, and that's the office. Now, that office I liked, but it really turned out to be a bad decision for recording videos when I would do the Q&As for the other channel. It just was bad quality. I wanted to show it to you because it's kind of a cool office, and I wanted to explain to you why it was a bad decision to try to use that as my location there. So let's jump in the car, or excuse me, let me walk in here, and then later we're gonna jump in the car, drive out, and show you the old Core Cars News office where it was located. All right, so if you remember Core Cars News, I'm gonna apologize about an echo, I'll talk about that in a minute. This is the office where I shot the Q&As from my home. If you ever wondered what my view was during those Q&As, this was it. You see the homes out there and more. I love this office, really nice. Few things made this really bad for YouTube. If you remember, you're probably used to a view kind of about this. This would be the view I often used. Had the stuff on the bookshelf behind me. But this is it. This is the backdrop for the YouTube videos I did for my office. Had my desk sit here in the middle, floating. I faced this way, and that was what was behind me. So I absolutely love this room, but it was a really bad room to record YouTube videos in. 2 things, hardwood floors, high ceilings, you can hear the echo. I thought that I could really minimize that. I put a big rug down, I had chairs, I put sound paneling up. No matter what I did, I was unable to make the audio good in this room. You can hear it, it's very poor. The other big problem with this room was there's just some glass doors here that didn't even do that very good job sealing up the room. And then you can see it goes right into the living room. And the annoying thing about that was when I'm in here recording Q&A, my family couldn't really even use the living room. They all had to hide in their rooms or something. And that's why I didn't shoot nearly as many videos in here as I did in my old home. So if you're ever thinking about using a room in your home for a YouTube video production, don't get hardwood floors. A rug isn't going to do enough, apparently. Don't get crazy high ceilings. You know, it can be helpful with lighting, but overall, a small room that's square without these corners here that create even more echo and bounce is best. Now, I did buy a lot of those foam pads that you can put up and try to address that. Just didn't work. But overall, I did love this office. I loved the ability to sit in here and look out the window and enjoy the view as I worked. When I was talking outside about the drainage ditch, this is it right here. So a little drainage ditch right here that comes from the road. You can kind of see the entry from the road there. And that gives us a lot of privacy. Even though you can see a roof of a home right there, we are very fortunate that this lot, with it being where it is, gives us a lot of privacy. So there you go. There is the Core Cars News old Q&A spot back when I did them. And if you ever wonder what it was like, this is probably my last time in this room. Well, I did love this home for recording video. Now, see on outside, you can hear the echo way down. And that's why that room is something that really wasn't the best for video. One last stop real quick before we head out of town. I wanted to stop and take one last look and show you the old headquarters for the old YouTube channel, the old business I used to have here in Texas. From on the second floor, all the ways over from these windows here, all the ways around the back was the Core Cars News headquarters. We had pretty much the whole end cap there. It worked really well. It was an excellent location. But I always thought it was funny. People would try really hard to figure out where this office was. People would be looking at my videos saying, well, he scanned his antenna and came up with these stations and they're located here, and all kinds of ways to try to figure out where we were located. But if they ever looked at the Contact Us page or the bottom of the newsletter, you would see we actually posted this address online, and you could easily find us if you really wanted to. But people put their sleuthing hat on and were really obsessed about figuring out where I was, even though we told everyone where we were located. But I always thought that was interesting. Right here, one last, my window was here on the right, just the last three windows right before that brick on the right and the second floor over there. So that's it. Let's keep on the road heading out towards Michigan. Well, I'm at everybody's favorite gas station, Buc-ee's, and it is massive. If you've never been to a Buc-ee's, they're huge. Last time I was here on my way up, it was extremely quiet here. I can tell you right now, it is a lot busier than it ever has been. And it really doesn't look like anything's ever changed. I'll be honest, it feels like 1 year ago, this is exactly how it will look. Let's head in. Let's go take a look at how busy Buc-ee's really is and find out if it's any slower or any different than before. end up day one on our trip back from Texas all the way up to Michigan, driving cross country, an update on the exact same trip I took in May, but now happening in August 2020 during this great pandemic. Now, definitely very different. For example, I'm sitting in a Walmart parking lot here in Joplin, and when I look at the parking lot, it's considerably more empty. There's tons of spaces. When I came here in May, same day, middle of the week on a weekday, and about the same time, it's about a little after 6 p.m. Central, local time here, I could get an easy parking spot and easily go inside and find what I want to get and get out. Not nearly as busy. Back in May, Walmart was packed. I couldn't find a parking spot when I came here. Inside the Walmart, it was in people. I'll show a little video here, give you an idea. But I mean, it's busy, but not crazy busy. On the flip side, restaurants are open now. People are going inside eating, and you see that and you think that nothing ever happened. Traffic is normal. It's like people are a lot more confident, I feel, in their ability to get goods at places like Walmart. So they're not rushing out here. There's no fear of great meat issues or anything like that. And that's really different. The other thing I've noticed is a lot more gas stations are taking precautions. Of course, you got the things like the plexiglass. Not all. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I also see things like at the pump, hand sanitizer starting to appear. Gloves. I saw one gas station offering gloves to pump your gas for if you would like to use them. I personally just keep this bottle of hand sanitizer in my car door here. So I'd leave the car door open, I pump the gas, and before I touch anything in the car, before I get back in it, I just get the hand sanitizer, do a really good job scrubbing my hands, and that's the way I do it. But I've seen people with Walmart bags grabbing the handles, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you need gas, you gotta touch it. It's really interesting to see that. Other places I saw, one gas station, they were like, every hour we're cleaning the pumps, and we're doing this, and we're doing that. But then there was another gas station, a major chain. Now, I'm not going to name the chain because gas stations are independently owned. Just because it has a brand name on the front of it doesn't mean that that store is actually being run by that brand name. So I don't want people to assume all those brands do it. Most of the staff in Oklahoma were not wearing masks. I saw one person, my cashier wasn't. No plastic dividers, no nothing. They did have 6-foot markers on the floor. That was it. And it was absolutely jam-packed in there. Crazy busy. And nothing else. No real changes on anything other than saying that they're not honoring refills at this time. They're asking you to take a fresh cup if you're doing that rather than giving you the discount. So I thought it was very interesting. Some businesses are over the top. You know, some hotels we've stayed in, all kinds of procedures and more. One of the hotel brands I think is doing the best is Hilton. They've partnered with Lysol. They actually got this little thing that they put on the door, like a piece of tape over the latch that's designed to rip when you open it. And it basically says that this room has been sanitized with Lysol. And, you know, when you get to it, you know that no one's gone in that room since it's been happened, because if they open that door, it's going to rip that tag and let you know that that room's now been entered. So you get an idea that's a fresh room. The remotes were wrapped in plastic with a little "we've cleaned this" remote thing. They have this big poster in the room that says, hey, we're using Lysol on all these different places, light switches, doorknobs, faucets, we use disinfectant cleaner on all the countertops. Hilton has really gone overboard, been very impressed with it. So 2 thumbs up. We stayed at Hilton Garden for a while when we were in town, and man, I've never seen so many cleaners. There was somebody cleaning the lobby, the elevators, and all that 24/7. They had one of those like bathroom type charts where it showed every hour somebody initialed it saying they'd cleaned all the buttons. They even got this, I'm not sure how well this really works, I don't know, but they even had these little stickers they put over the elevator buttons with a little thing that says antibacterial buttons, basically. I guess this material, and I couldn't figure out what it was. If anybody knows what this is, let me know. It's like a clear, gummy almost feeling material, actively kills bacteria and viruses and more, it said. So it's designed, it says, to help kill viruses, like the one causing a pandemic and bacteria and more. Anybody know what that is? It didn't have a company brand name on it. I couldn't find anything about it in a quick Google search. I didn't have a lot of time to look into it. But Hilton is spending a lot of money, and they partnered with Lysol to do it. I also noticed they had hand sanitizers outside each floor. So when you got out of the elevator, you could do a hand sanitizer, and they had a sign that one family per elevator ride. And I saw a lot of people do it. They also seem to reprogram the things because it wasn't stopping. I was on the second floor. You hear it go from the third floor all the way down to the bottom instead of stopping to pick me up and then come back up to the second floor. So it seems like Hilton's changed the way the elevators work, so it's one load instead of just keep stopping at each floor until it gets to the bottom. They've encouraged people, one family, one group per ride and more. So Hilton, 2 thumbs up on that. I really appreciate what you're doing there. But yeah, so that's day one. It's interesting. Things are very, very different than a month ago. Honestly, other than the extra cleaning things, like having Hilton always have somebody clean the lobby and more, all the different signs and more about the pandemic, you know, on the road, traffic's the same. Gas stations are the same. Restaurants, when we go, I picked up some food for to-go order. Absolutely jam-packed in there. It feels like almost nothing ever happened. Let's go see what happens on day 2. We're driving from here to Illinois. A little bit of a slower trip. We're going to make a stop on the way to see a few things. Maybe some people, if it works out, that we know in this area. And then we head home on the 3rd day. So let's jump forward till tomorrow and see how that trip goes. Well, it's the start of day 2, and we're heading through Missouri. Now, one of the things I've noticed is Missouri is not nearly as concerned about face masks and stuff. Just went to a gas station. Most of the people in there are not wearing face masks. And there's a bunch of police sitting, having a cup of coffee here at one of the outdoor tables. None of them are wearing face masks. So definitely a very different area. In Joplin, there was a city ordinance requiring face masks. I don't see any signs requiring face masks. I see face masks encouraged. Does anybody know if Missouri is requiring them? Very hard to say. I'm kind of in a rural part of it. Maybe just this particular gas station didn't put up that sign. They do have a encouraged sign saying you should do it, but not required. Now, we're in the middle of Missouri. It is possible to head all the ways home and make it back tonight around 8, 9 p.m. Eastern, so about 7, 8 p.m. Central Time. Sorry for a really big truck driving by. It's tempting to go one day and make it all the ways through today. If it was just me, I would do it. Definitely would enjoy that. When I was younger, trips like that were very normal. I love driving cross country. I would often do long distance trips like that. Now though, I got other people with me and other concerns, so I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that. We're going to play it by ear though. I'm doing all the driving, and I feel good. I feel like I could easily do that. It's about 11 hours of driving. I don't know. It's crazy. Do you drive that far in a single day by yourself? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Let's see how far we get though. Well, my trip from Texas to Michigan is over. We did it in 2 days. It wasn't what initially was planned, but after being gone for almost 2 weeks in Texas, it was decided, let's just power through and go at it. Now is the fun part of a little bit of self-quarantine, but that's okay. After being gone for 2 weeks, it's really good to be home. It was an interesting trip. Honestly, you know, it felt like everything was back to normal, even in states like Illinois and Michigan, which are very hard on their quarantine measures, on their wear your mask and all kinds of stuff. It really felt very back to normal. Yeah, there was mask signs, there were things like that, but traffic was a lot more back to normal. People were at restaurants, people were out and about, very close to pre-pandemic levels in my recollection. Now, of course, nothing's quite pre-pandemic, but it's pretty close. I thought the whole experience was interesting. Traffic was a lot higher. Did see one very bad accident. I'll drop a little film in here. Hope everybody's okay. Wasn't able to get any word on any issues with it in the Benton Harbor, Michigan area, but I really hope everybody's okay in that. But overall, everything was easy. It was easy to find gas, food, and get through there. I would say Walmarts aren't nearly as busy as they were before. So if you're interested in seeing what it was like back in May when I did this trip, I'm gonna put a link in the show notes down below so you can watch that video first and get a good idea how much more packed everything was at like Walmart's, how overall things were a lot slower. I will say Oklahoma and Missouri are probably two of the least aggressive. A lot of the places I went into, people weren't wearing masks and more. It was funny crossing over into the Illinois border. They had signs up like, in Illinois, we wear masks. Basically telling all these Missourians, hey, you're in Illinois, wear your mask. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Let me know what you think of this video. Would you like more vlog style, just what is happening in my life and different things like this when I do trips like this, or not? I'd love to hear from you. But if you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. And hopefully we can entertain you with something new. But thanks for your support. I really do appreciate it. Back to some normal videos next week. Thanks for your support.